Morning Year 6, this is Friday's lesson and today we're going to be looking at our class novel again, Room 13. So by now you should have listened to chapters 1 to 10. Make sure you have read the first 10 chapters before you move on. So now you've read the first 10 chapters, I'm going to give you 1 minute to write down as many things that you can remember about the story so far. Off you go. That's it, time's up. What did you remember? Did you remember the characters? Where it was set? What happened? How they had got there? What did you remember? How many things could you remember? How many things did you write down in 1 minute? So the first question for today's lesson is a true or false question. Let's read the statement. Fliss is scared of room 13. I want you to say whether this is true or false and then back it up with things you can remember from the story so far. Pause the video. When you've answered the question, come back and unpause and we'll look at some of what your answers could have been. Great, now you're back. So what did you pick, true or false? I picked true. Fliss is scared of room 13. So we're going to look at a few extracts and see why this is. So this one here. Let's have a look. Please, miss, I was just wondering what sort of room that is, as she pointed to the numberless door. The teacher glanced at it. Linen cupboard, I think. It's big for a cupboard, miss. The teacher nodded. Hotels need big cupboards, Felicity, all sheets. Or it could be a broom cupboard, I suppose. Anyway, go get your room organised. Felicity got the bottom bunk. She was glad. She hadn't fancied sharing the double bed. Mrs. Marriott put Joanne and Maureen in there. They were twins, so that was all right. Marie had the top bunk. They had half an hour to unpack, put their things away and tidy up, and everybody was going down to the seafront for a look around. Excited, anxious to be off, Fliss's 3 companions worked quickly. They chatted and giggled, but Fliss was silent. She was wondering when it was that she'd seen the sea under the moon, and wondering how broom rhymes with doom and also with room and also with doom. We can see here that it says, they chatted and giggled, but Fliss fell silent. This tells us that she's wondering about something. She's not very happy about something. Usually when someone's silent, they're a bit worried. So this could indicate that Fliss was scared. What have we got here? She recoiled, covering her mouth with her hand. When she had asked Mrs. Marriott what lay beyond that door, there had been no number on it. She knew there hadn't, yet there it was, 13, and somebody was in there. Somebody or something. So as you can see here, she recoiled. That means she stepped back. And she covered her mouth with her hand. This is showing us that she was scared. It also has empty words, somebody or something. A writer uses empty words to build tension in the writing, so this could also show that Fliss was scared. Let's have a look at this one. Fliss told her friend about the strange noises that had seemed to come from the linen cupboard, the number 13 on the door, the footsteps she thought she heard later. It all seemed so real, Lisa. But then this morning I looked and of course there was no number on the door and the sun was shining. So here she's telling her friend about it and telling her that it all seems so real. For to do that also indicates that she's a bit scared. What did you think of? did you say it was true or false, and what evidence did you find? Let's have a look at the next question. The teachers in Fliss's school are kind to the children. Prove it. So this is another question that wants you to go and think about the answer to this question. Can you prove if the teachers are kind to the children? Can you prove if they're not kind to the children? Pause the video, have a think and answer your question, and then join us back. Brilliant. So here's a few extracts that could show if Fliss's teachers are kind to the children or not. Let's have this one. Cocoa and biscuits were served in the lounge at 8:30. The children sat sipping and munching while twilight fell outside and Mrs. Evans read them a story. So here we can see that they're doing a nice thing. They're having cookies at night and the teacher's reading them a story. This could indicate that the teachers are kind. Let's have a look at this one. Startled, she turned. Mrs. Evans was sitting 2 rows behind, glaring at her through the space between headrests. Here we see the authors use the word glaring. Glaring is another word for looking, but it's a word that if we glare at something, it's usually not very nice. So this could indicate that the teachers aren't kind to the children. With questions like this, both answers are right. You've just got to back it up with evidence from the text. Let's have a look here. In this extract, Mr. Hepworth is talking to them about what they are seeing. And then they ask him what he would do. He tells them that he'd throw a big brick through the window. This is kind of a jokey thing to do. So for a teacher, it's quite kind and nice. So it doesn't necessarily indicate that it's kind, but it does indicate that the teachers are quite friendly. And the last one. Here we have the teacher at the part in the story where she grabs the fistfuls of the boy's hair and she squeezes. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think teachers should be able to do this. It's a good job that this is a fictional story. I hope some of you tried the challenge and wrote an answer for both yes and no. And this will help you because you can see how, when you get a question like this in a test or in class, you'll be able to say whatever answer you want as long as you have used evidence to back it up. So this next question then. What evidence is there to suggest that the crow's nest is the same house as the one in Fliss's dream? So we're looking for similarities in the story. What can you remember about Fliss's dream and what was similar to when she pulled up or when she arrived at the crow's nest? So this first one here, this is talking about the gate. So this is the gate when she arrived to the actual crow's nest, where she noticed the bird painted black and how it had run into little stalactites along the bird's wings. Stalactites are things that hang down like what you see in caves. So was there a mention when Fliss was talking about her dream about the gate, and was it similar? Pause the video, write the answer to the question, and then come and join us back and we'll look at any other similarities that we could find. So now you're back, let's have a look. So here we have the bird on the black gate that was meant to be a gull. So this, actually, I was wrong before. This is when she arrives at the hotel and this is Fliss's dream. So in both parts of the story, there's a bird at the gate and she can't tell what bird it is, but it's been painted black and it's had drips falling from it. So there are two similarities. Did you get those? So here we have when Fliss carried her case up the stairs, when she arrived at the crow's nest. And this is Fliss's dream. And it's talking about lots of stairs that she has to climb up. Is this another similarity? What about here? This is when Lisa and Fliss are at the hotel. And Fliss is looking out of the door and she sees the door numbers. 10, 11, 12, and then there's a cupboard door without a number on it. This could relate to her dream, because in her dream, here it says, where she saw 4 doors, 10, 11, 12, 13. Did you find any other similarities between the dream and when she arrived at the crow's nest? So your final task for today is to use what you've read and what you've heard in the first 10 chapters and make an interesting fact sheet about Whitby. Think about what you could do there, what you could see there, and what you've seen in the book. If you want to do some extra research, you could Google Whitby and see what you could do there if you went on holiday. I look forward to reading your answers when I get your home learning back. See you next week. Bye.